What happens when a royal guest forgets where he is and who he's talking to? In just 35 seconds, one comment turns a friendly morning show interview into the most explosive moment in live television history. Good Morning America's studio lights are bright as usual. The audience is settled in their seats, coffee mugs in hand, ready for another cheerful segment. Lara Spencer sits across from Prince Harry, her smile warm and welcoming. She's done thousands of interviews. She knows how to make guests feel comfortable, how to ask the right questions, how to keep things light and fun for the viewers at home eating their breakfast. So, Prince Harry, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Lara begins, her voice friendly and professional. We're so excited to have you here to talk about your new initiative. Harry nods, but something seems off. His posture is stiff. His expression carries an edge that doesn't quite match the casual morning show vibe. Yes, well, thank you for having me, he responds, his tone clipped. Lara doesn't miss a beat. She's a professional. Now, this project focuses on mental health awareness, which is such an important topic. Can you tell our viewers what inspired you to get involved? Harry shifts in his seat. I think that's fairly obvious, isn't it? Given everything I've been through, everything my family has put me through, it seems like a natural fit. There's a pause. Lara's smile doesn't waver, but her eyes show a flicker of surprise. The audience feels it too. That wasn't quite the answer anyone expected. It had an edge, a bitterness that seems out of place on a morning show. Well, yes, you've certainly been open about your own journey, Lara says carefully, trying to steer things back on track. And I think a lot of people appreciate your honesty. So tell us, what can people expect from this initiative? What can they expect? Harry repeats, and there's something sharp in his voice now. They can expect real talk, not the sanitized, corporate nonsense that usually gets pushed out. Real, honest conversation about real problems. Lara nods, still trying to keep things positive. That sounds wonderful, and I'm sure our viewers would love to know how they can get involved or support the cause. If they actually care, they'll figure it out, Harry says, and now the audience can hear the attitude clearly. I'm not here to hold everyone's hand and walk them through basic human decency. The studio goes quiet. Lara's smile is still there, but it's becoming more forced. The camera operators glance at each other. The producers in the control room are starting to panic. This is not how a Good Morning America interview is supposed to go. Of course, Lara says, her voice still calm and measured. I think what you're doing is really admirable. Now, I want to shift gears a little bit, if that's okay. A lot of our viewers are curious about your life now, how you're adjusting to everything. What's a typical day like for you? Harry leans back in his chair, and his expression is almost dismissive. A typical day? I wake up. I deal with the constant intrusion into my privacy. I try to live a normal life while people like you ask me invasive questions on national television. That's a typical day. The audience gasps. Actually gasps. Lara's professionalism is being tested in real time, and everyone can see it. But she doesn't crack. She doesn't get defensive. She simply maintains her composure. I'm sorry you feel that way, Lara says gently. These questions were all approved by your team beforehand. We're just trying to give our viewers a chance to get to know you better. That's what morning television is all about. Creating connection. Connection, Harry scoffs. Is that what you call it? Prying into people's lives for ratings? Reducing real human experiences to sound bites for entertainment? Now Lara's smile fades, not into anger, but into something more serious. Prince Harry, I think there might be some misunderstanding here. We invited you on the show to talk about your initiative, which we think is important and newsworthy. We've been nothing but respectful. Our viewers tune in to learn and be inspired, not to pry. Respectful? Harry's voice rises. You want to talk about respect? Do you have any idea what it's like to have your entire life dissected by the media? To have people speculate about every single choice you make? I can't imagine how difficult that must be, Lara responds, and her voice is genuinely empathetic. But we're not tabloids. We're a morning news program trying to have a conversation about the work you're doing, work that you came here to promote. Harry stands up abruptly. The sudden movement startles everyone. The cameras zoom in, capturing every moment. Maybe I made a mistake coming here, he says, his voice cold. I thought this would be different. I thought you might actually care about the message instead of just getting your viral moment. Lara remains seated, calm, collected. Prince Harry, please sit down. Let's talk about this. We do care about your message. That's exactly why we invited you. No, Harry says sharply. You care about ratings. You care about clicks and views and all the superficial garbage that passes for journalism these days. You people are all the same. The audience is completely silent now. This is uncomfortable. This is not what anyone signed up for when they came to watch a taping of Good Morning America. Lara stands up slowly, gracefully. I'm sorry you feel that way, she says, and there's a firmness in her voice now. But I have to say, you're being unfair. We've treated you with nothing but kindness and professionalism. We promoted your appearance. We prepared thoughtful questions, and we gave you a platform to share your message with millions of people. And instead of taking that opportunity, you've spent the last several minutes insulting me, insulting our show, and insulting our viewers. Harry's face flushes red. Don't you dare turn this around on me. You have no idea what I've been through. You sit here in your comfortable studio with your comfortable life, and you think you can judge me. I'm not judging you, Lara says firmly. But I am asking you to show some basic respect. Not just to me, but to everyone here who worked hard to make this interview happen. To the viewers who woke up early to watch. To the people who actually care about your initiative and wanted to hear about it. Respect? Harry's voice is getting louder now. You want to lecture me about respect? Let me tell you something about respect. Respect is not ambushing someone with questions designed to make them look bad. Respect is not treating someone's trauma like entertainment. Lara shakes her head. Nobody ambushed you. Nobody tried to make you look bad. The only person making you look bad right now is you. The words hang in the air. They're not cruel. They're not shouted. They're just honest. And somehow, that makes them more powerful. Harry points a finger at Lara. How dare you? How dare you speak to me that way? I'm speaking to you the way I would speak to anyone who came on this show and behaved the way you're behaving. Lara responds evenly. Your title doesn't give you the right to be rude. Your struggles don't give you the right to lash out at people who are trying to help you. Help me? Harry laughs, but there's no humor in it. This is help? Parading me around like some circus act? No one is parading you around, Lara says, and now there's a hint of frustration breaking through her professional demeanor. You agreed to come here. You chose to do this interview. And now you're acting like we've done something terrible to you when all we've done is give you exactly what you asked for, a platform to share your message. Harry's jaw clenches. I don't have to stand here and take this from you. You're right. You don't, Lara agrees. But before you leave, I want you to think about something. You came here to talk about mental health awareness. You came here to talk about compassion and understanding, but you haven't shown an ounce of compassion or understanding to anyone in this room. You've been defensive, hostile, and frankly, quite rude. Is that really the message you want to send? The audience is riveted. Some are nodding in agreement. Others look uncomfortable, but everyone is watching. Harry's voice drops, but it's laced with venom. You have no idea who you're talking to. I'm talking to a guest on Good Morning America who seems to have forgotten his manners, Lara says simply. I'm talking to someone who came on our show and decided to use it as a therapy session instead of an opportunity to do something positive. That's it, Harry snaps. I'm done. I'm absolutely done with this. Then I think it's best if you leave, Lara says, and her voice is steady, authoritative. Because this interview is clearly not productive for anyone. Harry rips off his microphone. The sound of it tearing away from his jacket echoes through the studio. Gladly, he spits out. This show is beneath me anyway. You're all beneath me. The audience gasps again. Several people audibly gasp. This is beyond uncomfortable now. This is shocking. Lara doesn't flinch. I'm sorry our viewers had to witness this, she says, speaking directly to the camera now. We tried to have a respectful conversation about an important topic, but unfortunately, it didn't go as planned. Harry storms toward the exit, but he turns back one more time. You know what your problem is? You think you're so much better than everyone else. You sit there with your fake smile and your scripted questions, and you think you're actually connecting with people. You're not. You're just another cog in the machine. And you, Lara responds, her voice still calm, but with steel underneath, are someone who had every advantage in the world and chose to waste it by being bitter and entitled. I genuinely hope you find peace, but you're not going to find it by tearing other people down. Harry's face contorts with rage. Entitled? You're calling me entitled? That's rich coming from someone who's built a career on gossiping about other people's lives. That's not what we do here, Lara says firmly. And you know it. We report news. We conduct interviews. We try to inform and inspire people. What we don't do is give platforms to people who can't behave with basic human decency. Then why did you invite me? Harry challenges. Because we thought you had something valuable to say, Lara answers honestly. We thought you wanted to use your platform for good. We were wrong. Harry takes a step forward, and for a moment, it looks like he might actually come back toward the set. Security personnel, who have been standing by nervously, start moving closer. You have no right, Harry says, his voice shaking with anger. No right at all. I have every right, Lara counters. This is our show, our studio, our platform, and we get to decide who deserves to be here. And right now, you don't. The words are like a slap. Harry's mouth opens, then closes. He looks around the studio, at the audience staring at him, at the cameras still rolling, at the crew members watching this disaster unfold. You'll regret this, he finally says, his voice low and threatening. The only thing I regret, Lara says, is that we wasted our viewers' time. They deserve better than this. They deserve better than you, acting like a spoiled child who didn't get his way. Harry's hands ball into fists. I came here in good faith. No, you didn't, Lara says, shaking her head. You came here with an agenda. You came here angry and looking for a fight. And when we didn't give you one, when we tried to keep things professional and positive, you created one anyway. That's not true, Harry protests, but his voice lacks conviction now. It is true, Lara says. Everyone here saw it. Everyone watching at home saw it. You walked in with an attitude. You responded to every question with hostility, and you turned a simple interview about mental health awareness into a personal attack on everyone in this building. Harry looks around again, and maybe for the first time, he realizes how bad this looks, how badly he's messed up. But instead of apologizing, instead of trying to salvage anything, he doubles down. This is exactly why I don't trust the media, he says. This is exactly why I've been vocal about how toxic you all are. We're toxic? Lara's voice rises slightly, the first real crack in her composure. We invited you here. We promoted your appearance. We prepared for this interview. We've been nothing but professional. And you've spent the entire time insulting us. If anyone is toxic here, it's you. The audience murmurs in agreement. Someone actually claps. Just once. But it's loud in the tense silence. Harry hears it, and his face goes even redder. Oh, so now you're going to set your audience against me? Is that how this works? I didn't set anyone against you, Lara says wearily. You did that all by yourself. Unbelievable, Harry mutters. Absolutely unbelievable. What's unbelievable, Lara says, is that you had a chance to do something meaningful this morning. You could have talked about mental health. You could have inspired people. You could have made a difference. Instead, you chose to throw a tantrum on live television. Harry's finger jabs toward her again. Don't you psychoanalyze me. You don't know anything about me. I know enough, Lara says quietly. I know that someone who genuinely cared about mental health awareness wouldn't behave this way. I know that someone who really wanted to help people would take advantage of an opportunity like this instead of sabotaging it. I'm not sabotaging anything, Harry insists. Then what do you call this? Lara gestures around the studio. What do you call coming on a morning show and attacking the host? What do you call refusing to answer questions and turning everything into a confrontation? Harry has no answer for that. He stands there, microphone still in his hand, where he tore it off, looking suddenly lost. I think you should go, Lara says, and her voice is gentler now, almost sad. I think you need to leave before this gets any worse. It can't get worse, Harry mutters. It can always get worse, Lara says, and I don't want that for you, believe it or not. Despite everything you've said, despite how you've acted, I still think you came here with good intentions buried somewhere underneath all that anger. But you need to go work through that anger somewhere else. Not here. Not on our show. Harry looks at her for a long moment. For just a second, something flickers across his face. Regret, maybe. Or embarrassment. But then his expression hardens again. Fine, he says. I'll leave. But don't think for a second that this is over. It's over, Lara says firmly. This interview is over. Your appearance on Good Morning America is over. Please leave. Security steps forward now, not aggressively, but present, making it clear that this isn't a request anymore. Harry looks at them, looks back at Lara, looks at the audience. You're all going to see, he says, but his voice wavers. You're all going to see that I was right. Goodbye, Prince Harry, Lara says, and she sits back down in her chair, turning to face the camera. She's done with him. She's moved on already. Harry stands there for another few seconds, maybe waiting for her to look at him again. Maybe hoping someone will stop him, will ask him to stay. But no one does. The audience is silent. The crew is silent. Even the producers have stopped talking in everyone's ears. Finally, Harry turns and walks toward the exit. His footsteps echo in the quiet studio. Every eye follows him. The cameras track his movement. He reaches the door, pushes it open harder than necessary, and disappears into the hallway beyond. The door swings shut behind him. Lara takes a deep breath, smooths her jacket, and looks directly into the camera. Well, she says, and manages a small professional smile. That was unexpected. We apologize to our viewers for how that unfolded. When we come back, we'll have a much more pleasant conversation with our next guest, who's here to talk about some exciting developments in children's literacy programs. The show cuts to commercial. In the studio, the audience erupts. People are talking all at once, processing what they just witnessed. The crew is buzzing. Phones are coming out. Everyone knows they just watched something that's going to be everywhere by lunchtime. Lara stands up, rolls her shoulders, and accepts a bottle of water from a production assistant. Her hands are steady. Her expression is calm. She just handled one of the most difficult situations in live television with grace and professionalism. Someone from the audience calls out, "You were amazing." Others join in with agreement and applause. Lara gives them a small wave, a genuine smile this time. "Thank you," she says. "But let's focus on having a good rest of the show, okay?" And that's exactly what she does. When Good Morning America comes back from commercial, Lara is composed, cheerful, ready to move forward. She doesn't dwell on what happened. She doesn't make excuses. She simply does her job. The interview with Prince Harry lasted less than 10 minutes, but those 10 minutes showed everything anyone needed to know. One person came to do a job professionally. The other came with something to prove and an axe to grind. One person maintained their composure under pressure. The other crumbled and lashed out. One person acted with dignity and grace. The other acted like the rules didn't apply to them. The cameras caught it all. The microphones recorded every word. And millions of people watched as someone forgot that respect is a two-way street and that titles and status mean nothing if you can't treat people with basic courtesy. Lara Spencer handled an impossible situation and came out the other side with her reputation intact and enhanced. She stood her ground without losing her temper. She defended herself and her show without being cruel. She knew when to push back and when to simply let someone's actions speak for themselves. Prince Harry stormed off the set of Good Morning America, and in doing so, proved every point Lara made about entitlement, about attitude, about the difference between someone who talks about making a difference and someone who actually does. The studio audience went home with a story they'll tell for years. The viewers at home watched something they'll never forget. The crew witnessed professionalism under fire. And Lara Spencer simply moved on to the next segment, because that's what professionals do. The door Prince Harry walked through stayed closed. He didn't come back. He didn't apologize. He just left, taking his anger and his accusations with him. Meanwhile, the show continued. The next guest came on, bright and enthusiastic about childhood literacy. The conversation was warm, engaging, exactly what morning television should be. Lara asked thoughtful questions, laughed at the right moments, made her guest feel comfortable and valued. Everything Prince Harry's interview wasn't. The contrast couldn't have been more stark. Within minutes, social media exploded. Clips of the confrontation spread like wildfire. People took sides, though the vast majority sided with Lara. They saw what everyone in that studio saw, someone trying to do their job and someone making that job impossible. But in the studio, life went on. The show wrapped up on time. Lara thanked the audience, waved goodbye, and walked off set with her head held high. She didn't need to say anything more. Her actions during that interview said everything.